Gio, what is your open mic topic for today?
Okay, so this one's gonna take a little while, so I will try and explain it as much as I can, and you stop me whenever you want me to repeat something,
All
because
right.
it's quite a bit. So, as many of you might know, or maybe might not know, but might have a clue. Hollywood has a problem as far as female directors go in Hollywood. Um, Many believe that the female directors are not getting enough opportunities to direct big budget films slash the mainstream kind of entertainment. And someone via Twitter asked Colin Trevorrow his thoughts on the subject of female directors not getting enough in Hollywood. And Trevorrow's thoughts sparked a little bit of controversy to where he had to respond and clarify his comments. And all in all, it puts Colin Trevorrow, the guy who's about to direct Star Wars Episode 9, in between a rock and a hard place, because he's a guy who means well, but at the same time, word selection is very important, especially with social media these days, because anyone can read what you write or what you say in a matter of minutes.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to start off with Colin Trevorrow's comments on female directors and their position in Hollywood, and then we'll go from there. All right, so this is Colin Trevorrow via Twitter. I want to believe that a filmmaker with both the desire and the ability to make a studio blockbuster will be given an opportunity to make their case. I stress desire because I honestly think that's a part of the issue. Many of the top female directors in our industry are not interested in doing a piece of studio business for its own sake. These filmmakers have clear voices and stories to tell that don't necessarily involve superheroes or spaceships or dinosaurs. To me, this is not a case of exclusion within an impenetrable corporate system. It's complex, and it involves a component that I think is rarely discussed: very high levels of artistic and creative integrity among female directors. Maybe this is my opinion, and it makes me naive, but as an employee of two companies run by brilliant women, and I presume he's talking about Lucasfilm and Universal, I don't think I am. There is a sincere desire to correct this imbalance at the highest levels of our industry right now. And yes, it does make me feel a little terrible to be held up as a symptom of a social injustice. I'm a person. Nobody wants to be a part of the problem. So that was Trevorrow via Twitter. And
He wrote all that on Twitter?
yes,
Wow.
yes.
I thought there was like a limit for characters
I
on
guess he
Twitter.
might have broken it up or posted a picture or something saying
Oh,
this.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So basically, he believes that many top female directors in the industry are not interested in doing a piece of studio business for his own sake, and that they have clear voices and stories to tell. Now, this sparked a little bit of controversy because he is speaking from his heart, but at the same time, might be talking like it's a given, like it's some sort of concrete thing. And so actress Jamie King went on Twitter and responded, as the next director of Star Wars and the rad Jurassic World, Colin Trevorrow, it's unfortunate that you believe this. Director Tanya Wexler also replied to Trevorrow's comments. At Colin Trevorrow, I cannot begin to tell you how naive and wrong it is. I have all the desire in the world. I would kill to make a blockbuster. Now, furthermore, Angie Han of Slash Film wrote a piece and dissected Trevorrow's thoughts, and furthermore pushed a director who means well into more of a bad light. And so Angie writes, Trevorrow. This is what he said. Many of the top female directors in our industry are not interested in doing a piece of studio business for its own sake. These filmmakers have clear voices and stories to tell that don't necessarily involve superheroes or spaceships or dinosaurs. And she responded to this by bringing up Ava DuVernay, saying that, you know, not all these directors are Ava, as a director with her mindset. And not all of them are going to turn down like Black Panther, because that was widely publicized.
Oh, yeah.
That she had the opportunity to direct a Marvel film, which would have, kind of softened this issue, but she denied it for her own personal, because she wanted a story to tell. And what she's saying is that not everybody is like her, has that opportunity. And she goes on to say Trevorrow wasn't a top male director when he got the Jurassic World gig. He was an up-and-comer with one minor indie hit, Safety Not Guaranteed. He's the equivalent of Cop Car, directed by, what's his name? Cop Car director.
The guy directing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I don't know his name.
God, it's going to come. John Watts.
Yes.
Yeah. Trevorrow is like John Watts or Mark Webb when he got the Spider-Man gig and only had one indie film underneath his belt. And so they all are not like someone who is like Ava DuVernay, whose last film was nominated for Best Picture, or Catherine Bigelow, who's already got a Best Director Oscar. Like, these people are not the same as Ava and Catherine. So, and then she goes on to say Trevorrow's female counterparts, like women who are currently at their point in their careers that when he nabbed Jurassic World, are directors like Jennifer Kent, who directed The Babadook, and Maya Forbes, who directed Infinitely Polar Bear. And she goes on to say, last we heard, none of them were getting offered $200 million spectacles. Is it theoretically possible that studios have approached some of these women only to be shot down? Sure. But that's a fact that their names never crop up when we talk about rumors and shortlist of directors. And then Trevorrow, of course, responded, clarifying his comments, because some of these females might have misinterpreted, but they have points.
Yes, I agree.
So Trevorrow said, the last thing I want to communicate is that I don't acknowledge this problem exists. And he goes on to say, so I'm going to say what I have to say, and I don't want to, but I have to. Would I have been chosen to direct Jurassic World if I was a female filmmaker who had made only one small film? I have no idea. I'd like to think that choice was based on the kind of story I told and the way I chose to tell it. But of course, it's not that simple. There are centuries-old biases at work at every level within all of us. And yes, it makes me feel shitty to be perceived as a part of the problem, because it's an issue that matters so much to me. If I didn't care, I wouldn't talk about it in the first place. I do stand by the idea that a great many people in the film industry want this to change. I have made attempts at every turn to help turn the tide, and I will continue to do so. When I got the script for Lucky Them, released last year, I advocated hard for my friend Megan Griffith to direct. She did, and she made a wonderful film. On my next project, Book of Henry, nearly all of my department heads and producers are women. Will I give a female filmmaker the same chance Steven Spielberg gave me for Jurassic World someday? Let's hope that when I do, it won't even be noteworthy. It will be the status quo. And so he goes on to basically say it's becoming a filmmaker is not easy, and that it's years of rejection and disappointment. It's very hard, often grueling, and this job takes an insane level of endurance, sometimes delusional amounts of self-confidence, and how he's raising his one girl to be fearless and let her choose her own path. So clearly he has a personal connection to this issue. And so this is a lot to take in right here. Now, hopefully I've explained things clearly, but if not, you can go ahead and ask me and I'll try and clarify. But judging off of all of this, Trevorrow's comments, the female actress and director comments via Twitter, Slash Films comments about comparing Trevorrow and his counterparts and how they're not getting opportunities, and Trevorrow's last comments. What do you make of this? Did Trevorrow overstep his boundaries a little bit? Is he completely way off? Do these female people who, like filmmakers and actors and editors, do they have a point? Like, what do you make of this?
So yes, this is a lot to take in.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I didn't know. I honestly didn't even know all this was going on. So
Right.
I'm really glad you brought it to my attention. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I just got to start off by saying I know it's a touchy subject. So whatever I'm about to say is my opinion, and I mean no offense at all to anybody, but this is just my opinion, and I got to say what I believe, and I can't lie about it. So
Yeah.
with that out of the way, I don't think that Colin Trevorrow overstepped his boundaries. He wasn't trying to be offensive at all, and everything he said made sense. It wasn't an attack on women as directors. And I don't know the business. He knows the business better than us, looking from the outside in, because he's in that world. He knows the producers and the studio heads. Maybe he specifically knows 20 women directors that have been offered big budget jobs and they turned them down. He could know those people and we would have no idea.
Yeah.
So you got to take things under circumstance. Like, think about who the guy is, who he knows. Like, these editors and stuff, they don't know what it's like inside the film world most of the time. So
Right.
but with that being said, no matter what's okay, you have to be careful with what you say when you're in a position of power and you have a lot of eyes on you.
Yes.
That's where he might have made a mistake. He should have just not said anything about this, and that's unfortunate, because we're living in a world where people are have to be afraid to speak their mind, because everybody reacts so crazy to somebody being opinionated on a controversial issue.
Yes.
That's ridiculous, and it's unfortunate, but when you're in a position of power, you have to watch what you say, and he was very careful with what he said, and I don't think he offended anyone at all, but I'm looking at it from my perspective. I'm a male. Obviously, I don't know how a female would take those comments, so I don't think he said anything wrong, honestly, but I also believe he needs to be more careful. As far as the comments he got, I see where they're coming from. I just think they're misinterpreting him. So actress Jamie King, she said it's unfortunate that he believes this. He wasn't trying to express his beliefs in a negative way. He didn't come out and say that female directors don't deserve to direct these movies. Like I said, he's in the business. He knows it. So he probably knows directors and that have turned down big jobs, male or female. This is a really tough issue, and I just want to say, here's one thing you guys have to think about. So I don't know these exact numbers, but I'm just going to estimate. So how many young people set out to be directors, right? So let's say 100 people set out to be directors. How young people in their 20s, they pursue a directing career. How many of those people do you think are male, and how many do you think are female, percentage-wise?
Oh, I mean, when you ask the question, I don't know. Maybe I'm going to go 60-40.
Okay, that's
60
fair,
male,
but
40
you admit
female.
There's a lot more males pursuing directing. There's a lot more males that have been directing. So this is not sexist at all for me saying this. There's more male directors than female. It's a fact. It's a proven fact. So when these jobs are getting offered, there's more male directors to choose from, and when you're talking about a big blockbuster, it's not typical for an indie director to get handed a big blockbuster. It's not typical. It happens. Colin Trevorrow, Mark Webb, Gareth Edwards. It's happening more lately. So, and up to this point, unfortunately, there's more proven male directors than females. It's just a fact. There's no way around it. So, when studios that are making big blockbusters are going after experienced, proven directors, there's more males to choose from, and it's unfortunate. I wish there were more female directors that have made a bigger name of themselves. And it's unfair. It's honestly unfair. I totally agree. I guarantee you, if we're going to guesstimate percentages, I guarantee you that the studios go to male directors 95% of the time, and that's unfair, and that needs to change. But I think it draws all the way back to the people who pursue directing. There's more males pursuing directing than females. Maybe that's changing in these days, but it's just a fact. So you got to consider all of this stuff, and it's hard to talk about. Like, we're nobodies, and we even are trying to be careful on this subject. So like, I think people need to maybe calm down and try to look at the information that they're seeing, whether it's Colin Trevorrow making comments or somebody else making comments. Look at it and don't jump the gun. Don't be so reactionary and assume that he's being offensive. Think about it. He wasn't. I personally don't think he was trying to be offensive. So those are my thoughts on that.
And all right, so taking into consideration everything that you've learned in the past 10 minutes, what would you like to see from Hollywood within like the next 5 years? Now, for me, what I want to see, I don't want to see female directors, get offered gigs because they're trying to change.
Just because they're female.
Yeah. Just because they're trying to make or change their image or whatnot, or for their own benefit. I want the best storyteller
to tell the story.
The story, and that also includes looking for a fair amount of female directors and talking to them about possibly signing on to these projects. You look at Marvel, Kevin Feige, he's saying, now I don't know his exact comments, but he said something about they are actively like looking for female directors, ones who could potentially tell not like Captain Marvel per se. I mean, that could be a film, but look at Ava and Black Panther.
They were looking for Ava DuVernay for Black Panther, and I thought that would have been a great fit.
Yeah, like so Marvel's aware of the issue. They're looking for a way to change this. They're introducing female characters, female superheroes, and whatnot. DC, Patty Jenkins
hired Patty Jenkins as Wonder Woman, and I don't mind that. It looks like she's directed some episodes of Entourage. She directed some episode, the pilot of The Killing, which The Killing,
I heard good things about that.
The first 2 seasons of The Killing might be the best 2 seasons on television I've ever seen. So I don't know if she created that show or not, but good for her. So that excites me that she's directing Wonder Woman. But I was upset because the original director on Wonder Woman was Michelle MacLaren, who she's directed episodes of Breaking Bad. She's directed episodes of Walking Dead. She's directed episodes of Game of Thrones.
Was she attached at one point to Thor: The Dark World?
Yes.
Yeah. I thought so. Yeah.
And she was signed on to do Wonder Woman, and then they had creative disagreements, and she fell off, and then you got Patty Jenkins. So in a way, it's kind of okay. They're not really trying to make a difference because they're getting a woman to direct the woman movie, and then they're looking at a black woman to direct Black Panther. Like, is that racist or sexist in itself? I don't know, but
and we're not saying it is. We're just
I'm asking. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
at least they're trying. You know, they could easily just have got Kenneth Branagh to direct Wonder Woman. You know, like, or they could have got any like an email director to direct Black Panther. You know, like it's a tough issue to talk about, but I would love to see. I think there are a lot of female directors working on TV, like both of these directors, Patty Jenkins and Michelle MacLaren, doing shows like Entourage and The Killing and Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad. Like, there's talented women out there. I just think they need to be paid a little more attention to. Studios need to dig deeper and give them a fair chance. That's all we ask. Don't choose a woman just because she's a woman.
Correct.
Pick the best storyteller. Give female directors the same opportunity to get that job as a male director, and if the male director happens to be the better fit for the job, give it to him. If the female director is a better fit for the job, give it to her. That's my final statements on that.
Right. And we're seeing Trevorrow, like you mentioned, he's actively trying to fix the problem, you know, hiring females to either direct or
be a part of his team. Getting female staff. Because that's where a career can start, being on set of a movie.
Yes, absolutely.
Maybe a female producer learns from him and goes on to direct, you know? Mm-hmm. So I don't think Colin Trevorrow is getting treated fairly on this issue.
Right. Well, okay, we'll see. I mean, you know, it's a problem in Hollywood, one that does deserve attention and, you know, something to be done about it. And hopefully, you know, I can see more female directors and, you know, writers, producers, you know, stand up and say their voices and encourage these young female directors to, you know, I mean, not that they aren't, but, you know, just like, you know, don't let anything hold you back. Go for, you know, if you think you're the right person for the project and you lobby for it, you know, you Tyrese Gibson it like he does in Green Lantern, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, real quickly, I was just watching the 2010 Oscars when Catherine Bigelow won for The Hurt Locker, Best Director. Barbara Streisand presented the envelope or the award, and she was like, you know, this is a long time coming, and like, everyone in the room was so happy that a female director won.
That's awesome.
You know, it's great. You know, that it's moments like that just make you smile. And yeah, so that's the open mic subject.
Yeah, just if you're a young aspiring director out there, don't be discouraged because of your gender, your race, or anything. I think that's where it starts. I think no matter what, whether it has to do with race or sex, I think people, they're like, oh, should I be I want to be a director. Should I go for it? No, mostly white males are directors. I don't think I'll have a good chance. Don't think like that. Go for it, because that's where it starts. If there were more women and more other races other than whites looking for director jobs, then they'd get them. So that's where it needs to start. So follow your dreams and go for it.
And let us know, you know, what you guys think on this subject in a respectful manner. Of course, we're being respectful on our approach for this subject. So please be respectful and let us know your thoughts. You know, educate us a little bit if we're way off or whatnot. You know.
Yes, please don't be afraid to share your thoughts. All right, that's gonna do it for the MTE Movie Podcast, episode number 14. I'm Jacob Bartley, the host, and I'm here with Gio Ramos. Where can they find you online, man?
You guys can find me on Facebook, Jojo Ramos, at Twitter, Jojo Ramos24, Movie Talk Express every day, and math class on Thursdays. Yeah.
Yeah, you can find me, Jacob Bartley, on Twitter, Facebook, everywhere, Jacob Bartley. And you can find our site at movietalkexpress.com. You can find us on Facebook at Movie Talk Express. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you like talking movies or you just love movies in general, especially genre films. We can talk about those all day.
Subscribe,
please, and hit that like button. And we'll see you next week. Thank you for listening.